too, but I think especially Caitlin Clark, she's been killing it. And I'm a huge fan, and I never say that, but I think it's fun what she's doing. When it comes to viewership, man, I think a lot of people have a lot to learn about our league, but I think that's a really fun thing. And if you have really anything negative to say about all the viewership and everything that this rookie class is doing, I just think that you're not capitalizing on it, and you might be a little jealous. So for me, I'm all for it. I'm about it. I love all this stuff.
Sophie Cunningham just shook up the WNBA, and it's all because of Caitlin Clark. She's not just giving Clark a shout-out. She's thanking her for bringing more eyes to the league. But here's the real story. This isn't just about praise. It's about a massive shift happening in Indiana.
Wow, wow, wow. The Indiana Fever have traded Nalyssa Smith and got Sophie Cunningham in a three-way trade. And boy, do I want to talk.
The Fever are making big moves, and some players aren't part of the plan. Nalyssa Smith, gone, her bad attitude finally caught up with her, and her girlfriend Jai Carrington. She's been stirring up drama all season. Now they're both headed to Dallas, Indiana, is building something special, and it all starts with respect. Let's break it down. Can you believe what just happened? Sophie Cunningham's been talking about playing with Caitlin Clark for ages, and now it's actually happening.
Why does everybody hate Caitlin Clark? And do you hate Caitlin Clark? Come on, talk
dude.
to me.
Absolutely not. I think that she's a gem. I didn't know her, but All-Star Weekend, we kind of bantered back and forth a little bit. And she's lovely. She has a lot of pressure on her shoulders. And I think a lot of people always have a lot to say with people they don't even know or shoes they've never been in. And for me, I think she's handling the pressure very well. She's doing a lot of great things for women's basketball. And I'm a fan. Like, I would love to play with her one day.
Let's rewind a bit. Sophie's been watching Clark light up the court, and she couldn't stop gushing about her game. But here's where it gets really interesting. Sophie didn't just admire Clark from afar. She was practically begging to join her team.
I think everyone knows she's well known around the world at this point, but I'm going to go with Caitlin Clark is going to be super special.
What do you think Caitlin Clark's impact on the nation?
You know what? I think that she's a phenomenal player. She's one of the best college players to come out of college. I do think there's going to be a little bit of growing pains, but she is so dominant and so hardworking that I'm super excited for what she's going to bring to the table.
Remember that viral clip from the All-Star Weekend? Sophie grabbed Clark and was like, hey, I want to come to Phoenix. Well, the basketball gods must have been listening, because Sophie just signed with the Fever.
Sophie Cunningham drunk. Sophie Cunningham was so drunk on All-Star Sunday. And she went straight up and was like, come to Phoenix, come to Phoenix.
Talk about manifesting your dreams. Now you might be wondering, what does Sophie really think about Clark? Well, she's not holding back. Sophie's out here saying Clark's handling the pressure like a champ, and she's doing amazing things for women's basketball. But it's not just talk. Sophie's ready to back it up on the court. She's bringing that three-point fire and some serious defensive skills. Sophie Cunningham isn't just joining the Fever. She's about to become Clark's on-court protector and off-court hype woman.
I don't know if that happens. And in Sophie Cunningham is, when it comes to Salona Cunningham, they can play the 3, they can play the 4. They can play like a little bit at the 2 maybe. Like, when you get these super, like, versatile players.
And if you thought that was big, just wait till you hear who's leaving the Fever to make room for Sophie. But let's focus on the positive for a sec. Sophie's been a force to be reckoned with in the WNBA. She's got that never-say-die attitude that fans love. Remember when she dropped 35 points in a single game last season? That's the kind of firepower she's bringing to the Fever.
And Sutton forcing that turnover. Oh, nice step through, dropping the rookie. You go, Sophie, go. And here comes Sophie and the Mercury. Cunningham buries the 3.
Can't get it to fall. Cunningham, a rebound in traffic. Cunningham from deep.
But it's not just about the stats. Sophie's got that team-first mentality that every coach dreams of. She's always diving for loose balls, setting hard screens, and doing the dirty work that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. And now she's going to be doing all that alongside Caitlin Clark. That's a combo that's going to give opposing teams nightmare.
But I do have to say, Sophie Cunningham is a very, very, very interesting one for Indiana.
You know what's really cool about this whole thing? Sophie's not just joining the team, she's fulfilling a dream she's had for years. It's like watching a fan become part of the show they've been obsessed with. And you can bet she's going to bring that same energy and excitement to every practice and every game.
Can shoot a little bit. can play some defense, and is a bit of grit, she's probably going to start. She genuinely is probably going to start.
Now, let's talk about what this means for the Fever. They're not just getting a solid player. They're getting someone who's going to elevate the whole team's energy. Sophie is the kind of player who makes everyone around her better. She's always hyping up her teammates, always ready with a high five or a word of encouragement.
Indiana Fever are going to probably be one of the they're going to be one of the top teams in the W next year, and they got significantly better. Look, I think Sophie Cunningham is a better fit than whoever they were getting with the 8th pick. I think Sophie Cunningham at this point in time is better than Sonia Citron, who's not going to be there at 8. She's better than Anissa Morrow at this point in time. Potential-wise, sure, but the thing is that the Indiana Fever have been made it very, very clear that they are trying to win while Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark are on rookie contracts, and in order to do that, you have to get the best talent available. And to do that, you had to give up Nalyssa Smith.
And you know what? That's exactly what a rising star like Caitlin Clark needs, someone who's got her back, someone who's going to push her to be even better, unlike Nalyssa Smith, who seems to be anti-Clark. Sophie isn't coming in to steal the spotlight. She's here to make sure that spotlight shines even brighter on Clark and the entire Fever squad.
What is that? What's it might not be from you, but like what is the, I mean, it feels on, it's not hate, but is it jealousy? Is it envy? Is it just like, what is it?
Yeah, you know, I see both sides. I'm not an extremist in any way, and so I like to see both sides of each party. I think when you have older people in the league, you know, they work their tails off and they didn't get the recognition. They don't get paid millions of dollars before they even step on the court. You know what I mean? And for them, it's all about, okay, well, what are your stats? What are you doing for the actual game? Like, while you're playing.
Yeah.
And then for...
You might be thinking, okay, but can Sophie and Caitlin really play together? Well, let me tell you, their games are going to complement each other perfectly. Sophie's a sharpshooter who can space the floor, giving Clark more room to operate. And with Clark's insane court vision, you know Sophie's going to be getting wide open looks all day.
Now, Sophie Cunningham is a good player. She can shoot the three. She can 3-and-D it. She's pretty good on defense. She's fast. I think the Fever are looking for like the fast pace. I think bringing Sophie over is definitely going to spread the floor a lot more.
But it's not just about offense. Sophie's a tough defender too. She's going to take some of the pressure off Clark on that end of the floor. And you know what that means? It means Clark's going to have even more energy to do what she does best, light up the scoreboard and drop dimes.
Hands for BG there, a steal. Cunningham from the corner for a three. She hits it, and she's fouled. A chance to tie this.
All right, folks. While we're all hyped about Sophie joining the Fever, another bombshell just dropped. You won't believe this. Nalyssa Smith is out. That's right. The Fever are showing her the door. And honestly, it's been a long time coming. But here's where it gets even more interesting. She got traded to the same team as her troublemaking girlfriend.
Free from, folks. We are free from Nalyssa Smith. Nalyssa Smith no longer on the Indiana Fever. Kelly Krauskopf came in and said, oh, you gotta go.
Now you might be thinking, what's the big deal? Them players get traded all the time. But this isn't your average roster move. Smith was like this dark cloud hanging over the entire team, bringing negativity that could be felt through TV screens. We're talking about a player who couldn't even pretend to have Caitlin Clark's back when it mattered most.
Within 2 hours. And guess who was gone? Nalyssa Smith is gone.
Remember when Clark was out there dominating games, lighting up the scoreboard, and basically being the superstar we all know she is? Well, guess who was nowhere to be found when it came to supporting her teammate? That's right, Nalyssa Smith. While Clark was giving it her all, Smith was just there, not defending, not supporting, just existing.
You don't know how to use your body. You don't know how to absorb contact. You don't know how to grab a rebound. What do you know how to do? I need to know. What do you know how to do? What is your strong suit in the WNBA? Besides pulling them, because I mean, you're clearly punching above your weight class, getting Dejanette Carrington. Salute to you. Maybe you got game, but not the right type of game for the WNBA.
And don't even get me started on her social media antics. One day, she's all about the Fever repping the team like there's no tomorrow. The next day, she's throwing more shade than a beach umbrella It was a roller coaster drama, and the Fever were clearly ready to get off this wild ride.
This more complicated than it needs to be. Fever fans are tired of the drama that you bring off the court, but make no mistake, on the court, it's not hard to see that you don't belong.
Now you might be wondering how bad could it really have been. Well, let me paint you a picture. Fans weren't just annoyed with Smith. They were describing her as seriously messing with the team's chemistry. We're talking bad body language, inconsistent effort, the whole 9 yards.
Feeding the trolls never helps anything. And I mean that. Feeding the trolls. There is never a scenario where it is a good idea to feed the trolls. And I will always, always stand by that.
It got so bad that Smith's presence was actually creating a toxic atmosphere within the team. Can you imagine trying to play your best basketball? When you've got someone bringing that kind of negative energy to every practice, every game, it's like trying to run a marathon with a boulder strapped to your back. You might remember her from last year. You know, the one who poked Clark in the eye. That's right, when Clark was dominating Nalyssa Smith's girl. Fired up and took a cheap shot all out of jealousy.
Now, there's nothing Indiana can challenge here because no call on the floor was made. Clearly.
And you'd think after that they'd show some remorse, right? Nope, instead they laughed about the whole thing and even recorded it. Can you imagine?
Ow! Oh, I'm sorry. You poked me in the eye. Good. You're 8-year-old. You did.
I did not poke you.
Did you do it on purpose?
I did not poke you in the eye.
Did you do it on purpose?
I got hit in the knee. That was my reflex.
It looked like you were just laughing.
Fans had had enough. They were done with the drama, done with the negativity, done with the lack of loyalty. When the news broke that Smith was out, people were celebrating like they just won the championship. It wasn't just a roster move. It was like the Fever had just opened all the windows and let in a breath of fresh air.
In fact, I gotta go in my backyard. My neighbors they think we're still partying here, folks. Where the party is over. We're gonna throw a party next move that the Indiana Fever make, but man, they're jumping for joy still. What are they jumping for joy about? Why is it such a big deal? Nalyssa Smith is, folks, need I remind you folks of the passive aggressive nonsensical garbage that we dealt with on a bi-weekly to monthly basis from Nalyssa Smith.
Story ends here, think again, because this ride is just getting started. The ink wasn't even dry on her release papers before she updated her social media bio. And guess where she's headed? That's right, Dallas Wings talk about moving fast. But here's the thing, the Wings might want to invest in some serious PR, because as duo, they're magnets for drama. Instead of focusing on the game, they stir up controversy. And let's be real, this might not end well for Dallas. Meanwhile, over in Indiana, the Fever couldn't be happier. The negativity is gone, and it's nothing but good vibes from here on out.
That's it. Point blank, period. Good luck in Dallas. Sorry, not sorry. We'll see you again. Please, I hope I don't. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. If you need anybody to pack your bags.
Now get ready, folks, because the Indiana Fever just pulled off a basketball revolution. Let's talk about the masterminds behind this transformation. Stephanie White-Ambercox and Kelly Krokov, these ladies, are creating a dynasty right before our eyes. So what exactly did they do? They looked at their roster and said, we're going for greatness. And boy, did they deliver. They didn't just get Sophie Cunningham. They went out and got some serious firepower that's got the whole WNBA shook. Think of this roster as a championship puzzle where every piece fits perfectly. You've got Kelsey Mitchell, one of the league's top scorers, back with the Fever last season. Mitchell was dropping an average of 5 points per game. Now imagine her playing alongside Clark. It's going to be a scoring fest every single night.
I don't get it, and I think that it's being made very clear with the signings that the Indiana Fever have made. A lot of people want to go to Indiana.
But wait, there's more. The Fever snagged Dananna Boner. We're talking about a 6-time All-Star and WNBA champion. This woman knows how to win. Last season, she was putting up 9 points and grabbing 6. 1 rebounds per game. That's the kind of championship mentality she's bringing to Indiana.
Indiana Fever are officially title contenders. Every day they have something new for us in free agency. And today it's Miss DeWanna Bonner. Six-time WNBA All-Star and WNBA champ, a veteran in this game, can pretty much do it all. Also an enforcer, nasty defense. Should I continue? We have a new starting five. Caitlin at the 1, Kelsey at the 2, DeWanna at the 3, Natasha Howard at the 4, and Aaliyah Boston at the 5.